चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथामय्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा शिव श्री गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। कं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. We'll continue from yesterday's discussion. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through an analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. Dear devotees, this is actually a very important subject matter, but the Lord is explaining about the importance of working free from fruitive activities. Now, generally, a question will come, why one should work without being fruitive? Not only that, what's wrong in that if I'm working to fulfill my own desires? This question is being asked through age and age, time and memorial, continuously. Through millions of lifetimes, this question is being asked. What is the problem if I begin to work for my own self? A parent comes to the school and then he tells, my child deserves this. Why is my child put into this position? He deserves this position. Why is my child is given something else? We also pay a fee to the school. Not just that my child is very intelligent. So this is a perspective of the father. I'm just giving an example so that we all can understand. This is a perspective of a father which he proclaims that he feels that his child is great. But who has to assess the child? The teacher has to assess the child. How? Through the behavior, through the exams. Exams is only partial thing, just mostly through the behavior, mostly through their presence, mostly how they react to certain things, mostly how they deal in this world. That's how the teachers would actually understand the caliber or capability of the student. And the teacher will slowly try to help the student so that student will come out of that state. But the parent, through the state of attachment, which is called as raga, what he generally feels is my son is very superior. He should be given. So what is that? That means through one aspect of an attachment to one's own son or to anything in this world, through that aspect of an attachment, what is that proving, dear devotees? What is that helping? What is that doing, that, dear devotees? It is helping to not to really see the essence of that particular child. Please understand. Parent doesn't understand about the intricate problems of the child because the parent is seeing through his vision only. Because his vision is tinted with raga, attachment. Premanjana turita bhakti vilochanena santas sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindam adi purusham tama. That means when the love of devotion is annoyed towards that devotee, then wherever he go, whatever he see, whatever he does, he would see everything through that vision only. He doesn't see anything else because he has an attachment, but that attachment is not raga, that is a transcendental attachment. That means the devotee is actually working on the internal energy of the Lord. He's not working on the external plane, rather, he's actually working on the internal state. Through that internal state, what is happening? Wherever he go, he's actually seeing the presence of the Lord. Prema Anjana Churita Bhakti Vilochane. That means bhakti is a very powerful and a potent process, which is not through jnana, which is not through karma, which is actually free from this fruitive mentality. Krishna is telling, become free from this fruitive. Don't try to be fruitive. For example, you're doing something, don't expect anything out of it. If you begin expecting, it's a problem. If you begin asking, if you begin expect, oh, I did this, I need this. Oh, I've been in the movement for 25 years, I need this. That means it's not actually humility, it's actually arrogance. That means you are using the numbers to gain something. Karmanyavadikarasya ma phaletu kadachin. That means if I have an expectation from something, stating that I've been since 20 or 30, since 50, or since some even tell that I've been practicing since previous lifetime also. They tell that I got this realization that I've been practicing since last lifetime. Okay, that's perfectly all right. But that shouldn't change your attitude. For example, there are some devotees who might have been practicing in their previous lives also. They're continuing in this life. That's well and good. But is that making us humble? Is that making us grounded? Is that making us free from arrogance or free from any atrocities? If yes, that is well and good. But if it is increasing our pride, arrogance, what is that? Is it helping us? It is not helping us. It is actually removing our Bhakti Lata Bij. That means you have that Bhakti Lata Bij, but what is happening is that Bhakti Lata Bij has been removed. Why? Because arrogance is actually dominating. This is what? This is not this is not helping your Bhakti Lata Bij, rather it is helping the weeds around the Bhakti Lata Bij. For example, if I am proclaiming that everything is given to me by the mercy of my spiritual master and the acharyas, then am I really meaning it? This we have to check. And every individual sadhaka, he should check individually in his core heart. This sadhaka should not check in the heart of other devotees. This is a problem actually. Dear devotees, the more if our hearing process is not correctly placed, then that's a problem also because we do offenses. Why? We will put the same aspect in the other person's heart. Oh, is this person told? Is he really doing it for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna? Wow, we should not do that. Unless and until you are the authority, you cannot do that. Authority should do that because he has to correct. Because that is a position, that is his, he has to correct. Otherwise, if the authority is not correcting, if the authority is feeling that he cannot correct, he cannot be authority. And then authorization should also be given. For example, I'll tell you something. There's a tiger and then there's a trainer. There are two trainers. There is one tiger. The trainer who trained the tiger, when he calls the tiger, tiger, come up, the tiger will come. But the other trainer who trained other tigers, but he did not train this tiger. If he calls, will the tiger will the tiger come? Tiger will not come. Why? Because the tiger is not trained with this particular person. Tiger is trained with some other person who's right next to him. So likewise, the authority, one should have one authority in one's life. And that authority should drive the show. Very important. If you have multiple authorities have conflict of interest. For example, one authority is fully surrendered. The other authority is thinking that he's authority, but he's not surrendered. And when he gives the instructions, actually it is a problem to the authority also. Why? Because if the person who's actually following that instruction, he goes through karmic reaction. This authority is he will also receive the karmic reaction. Why? Because this authority told without maturity. Please understand. Hope you are understanding this. This is a very interesting subject matter, very intricate. For example, two authorities. Two authorities telling two different things, and they followed. The authority who did not tell with conviction, he doesn't understand the science of Krishna consciousness fully, and he is telling that. And through that, the follower is getting some reactions. For that reaction, this authority also has to suffer. You understand what I'm saying? This authority also has to suffer for that. Why? Because this authority is telling something which that person is actually following. The person who is actually following, even though he's going through difficulty, he will advance in Krishna consciousness because he's just following as is. But sometimes what happens is, even the person who is actually following, if he is not following the right thing, then he will not advance. That is one more thing. But through that submissiveness, he will advance in the science of Krishna consciousness. Later on, he will eventually, Krishna will send him to a right authority if he is very sincere. Please understand, if the sadhaka is sincere, he will be sent to right authorities. And if the sadhaka is not sincere, he will not be, he is not sent to right authorities. Because this world is what? Cheater and cheated. Couple of days back, there's the CEO of the Boeing company, not couple of days, I think some last year or so. The CEO of the Boeing company, his salary is $34.8 million. And he had a raise of 45% since last year. So this is his position. Senator is talking to him directly. And then he's asking why you got 45% raise. First thing. And then he asked the second thing, you have 1,200 engineers under you. They all work on the floor, Boeing. And those engineers, they got 1% hike in the last 8 years. That means for the last 8 years, they did not get any hike. But you got 45% hike. What is this difference? How come those personalities do not receive any hike and then you got this hike? So when you actually see here, one person is trying to cheat the other person. But if we understand the nuances on a deeper level, you'll get another aspect. What is that aspect is, how this person is cheating today, tomorrow this person will cheat. This person is cheating tomorrow, day after tomorrow, that person will cheat. Because this material world is what? The world of dualities. Jiva, jivasya jivanam. That means one jiva will be the life of the other jiva. Then later on, another jiva will be life of another jiva. Later that jiva will be life of another jiva. I'll give an example. Whale eats thousands of fishes every day. Thousands. Whale lives in the ocean. It eats thousands of fishes. Now, when that whale dies, all the fishes will eat the whale for at least 2-3 years. That means whatever that whale has done, it is giving back. Now, this is the whole point why through the creation of the Lord, animals do not have karmic reactions. Please understand this. They don't have to deal about fruitive activities, fruitive mentalities, karmic reactions. They don't have this understanding. They don't have to go through this. But the humans have been given this special wisdom, special intelligence. That is why Krishna is telling. What is he telling? Oh, son of Prita, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. What? Acting in what plane? Acting in the plane of not being fruitive, but rather being free from fruitive. That means the jiva should be completely free. Now, how a jiva can be completely free from fruitive? First thing, he should leave attachment. It's not like in his works or in his activities, he will feel that he should be free from fruitive mentality. No, that he cannot do like that. He has to remove the root. What is the root? Materialistic attachments. Krishna tells in 6th chapter, a person, if his mind is wavering, if his mind is not controlled, that person, for him, self-realization is impossible. But if a person's mind is controlled, that means he's fully Krishna conscious. You know, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ek hi hai Purnanda. If he's fully Krishna conscious, then he can come to the plane of self-realization. Hare Krishna. So this aspect is very, very important. How self-realization will come? You should actually ask these questions. How can I come to the state of self-realization? What is self-realization? How can I achieve that? How can I control my mind? How can I control? And the question, if you ask that question, immediately another question came. Why you want to control the mind? I remember many years back when I was asking this question to my spiritual master, he said this, "Oh, you want to control the mind? Why you want to control the mind?" I didn't have any answer at that time because I was naive, ignorance. Omajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalaka. What is that? Very interesting question. Why you want to control the mind? Because if you don't have a tangible answer to that, you can never control the mind. If you express, I have a sincere desire to serve you, then they will give all the blessings. So that through that blessing, mind is controlled. I have a desire to serve, I have a desire to serve Srila Prabhupada, desire to serve you, I have to desire, want to please you. When these things do manifest into our heart, into our consciousness, then you become fully Krishna conscious. Through that full Krishna conscious, your mind is unbridled. It's not wavering, it's not wavering. That is a whole point. If the mind is not on a settled state, that means if the mind is not in a controlled state, you should never tell to those persons any intimate secrets. Because a person's mind is wavering, is not controlled. He cannot keep those things in his heart. He will express it out. You see, Prahlad Maharaj, what is his consciousness? If you actually think more closely, Prahlad Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, pure devotees, you know what is their consciousness? Their consciousness is unwavering because their mind is calm. How is that mind calm? Mind cannot be calm, dear devotees, but their mind is calm. How is that the mind is calm? Because their complete absorption is on the plane of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Complete, undeviated, unmotivated, anyabhinashitam shunyam jnana karma dhanavrutam. They don't have any business in this world. Their only business is Krishna consciousness. If one comes to that state, then his mind is not wavering. That's what Krishna is telling. Whoever's mind is fully focused, for him, self-realization is just like this. It's easy. Krishna is telling it can be done very easily, but you have to have that attachment. Just like the father having that attachment to the child, the father is thinking that my child deserves this, and he's even fighting. He can even fight with the school management, telling that, oh, my child deserves it. You can put another test. So what is that? That's rag. Is it helping him? It's not helping him. Is it helping the child? It's not helping the child. But what kind of attachment is that? This attachment is on a material plane, thinking that this child is mine. Dear devotees, whenever you think this child is mine and you actually work on that plane as per that aspect, through that aspect, you understand you're in the clutches of this material nature. You don't know that he's not your child. Through an illusory state, you are thinking that he's your child. He's not your child, actually. But we are thinking that he's my child. That doesn't mean that the moment you understand that he's not your child, he's a child. Whose child is that? He's a child of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means if the sadhaka, if the Vaishnava has fully dedicated his life and consciousness to the words of the Acharyas and the Lord, then this child represents him as the greatest opportunity and the service factor to please those passions. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's a very different subject. The child is ours. We think that our child is ours. But the child is not ours. Who said it is ours? Actually, if you actually closely observe, what did we do to proclaim that this child is ours? Just like husband, wife, they came together. Is that the proclamation that the son or the daughter which is born belongs to us? What is the proclamation? Does that mean that you're taking care of the child is your child? Who told that? If this entire world is telling that does that mean that it belongs to us? I'll tell an example which we heard before. Chitraketu Maharaj's son, the moment his son died, Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting. Now, by the mercy of Narada Muni, the son comes back. And the son is talking to the father. Father is saying, oh, my dear son, you came back. We missed you. Thank you, my dear Lord Krishna. You protected this child. Narada Muni, thank you for your association. Through your association, only this child came to life back. Then another question will come here. The child is actually speaking. This is very interesting. This is the most important aspect which we need to assess here. The child is telling which son you're talking about, and which father you're talking about, and which life you're talking about. That's it. Chitraketu Maharaj understood. Because he says he's a king, right? He's already educated in Vedic literature. He's already educated in the science of self-realization. He understood that. And he said, the child said another aspect. Are last life you were enjoying after me died, when I was killed, you were enjoying because in my last life I was your enemy and you killed me and you took all my property and kingdom. At that time you are very joyful and now you are distressed. I'm the same person who came as your son. Why are you distressed now? That means who was which son? Whose son is who? Am I your son? Am I his son? Am I somebody else's son? Whose son is who? But when we see on an impersonal level, I'll tell another aspect through this. Let us see the same thing through an impersonal level. If I see the same thing through the impersonal level, what do I perceive? Oh, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. No one is child, no one is father. Everyone is Brahman. No relations, nothing. What is he doing? He is coming out of all the relations. That means he has a problem. Just like Arjuna expressed that problem in the chapter 1. And then he says that he doesn't want to kill because how can he kill his family members? Because it is his heart is hurting doing that. He says that how can I do that? That means if his heart is accepting, he'll do that. Please understand. If your heart is accepting, you'll do. If your heart is not accepting, you'll not do. That means where is the words of the Lord? That means the words of the Lord are gone. The words of the Acharyas are gone. That means if you like, you do it. If you don't like it, don't do it. Wow. What is this? That means whatever you like, you do. Whatever you don't like, you don't do. This is the whole point of frustration which Arjuna. If the sadhaka doesn't come to the plane of submission, he will practice Krishna conscious, but he will suffer. I'm not cursing because that is a principle. Just like Arjuna suffered, but Arjuna had Krishna. But through our sufferings, what we do, we don't come to Krishna, but rather we take the association of this material world. Reading newspaper, reading this, reading that, taking care of that, taking care of this, watching cinema, movies, this, that, so many other things. What is happening? Because that frustration has to be nullified somewhere. Through that frustration, we come to this material plane. That's how the Maya will pull us. Because the heart is investing where? Not what Krishna wants us, but the heart is investing what I want. This is a core problem. For example, I want to preach. Yes, yes. Preach, preach. For example, I want to do this. Yes, yes. Do that. For example, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. So many other things. I want to do so many things. Yes, yes. Do everything. But your heart will not be satisfied. I'll write it down. Without surrender, one cannot understand Krishna consciousness. Please understand. The six principles of surrender, if one is not following, he will never understand Krishna consciousness. That means if he doesn't have an authority in his life, and if he doesn't surrender to the words of the authority, no progress. Prabhupada actually proclaims that. 2.29, let me show that. I was discussing about this. Let me read. It's very interesting. 2.29, Krishna, Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport. Okay, there are various ways to understand the soul and the super soul. Soul is, everyone is proclaiming the soul and super soul both are same. That is incorrect. Someone proclaiming that one will merge into the super soul. That is also incorrect. Some are saying that soul is inferior, super soul is superior, or soul superior and at different levels. Prabhupada, after analyzing all of these things, he tells one aspect. If you really want to understand what the soul is, first thing is you need to take full submission to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and then surrender to his lotus feet. And to get that surrender state, one should follow the words of the spiritual master. And that spiritual master is, if one is not initiated, Shiksha Guru is your spiritual master. If one is initiated, both Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru is the spiritual master. If the Diksha Guru is also the Shiksha Guru, then that is well and good. But if the Diksha Guru is not the Shiksha Guru, you should have a Shiksha Guru who has to train you in that science. And one should surrender to that person. Who? Shiksha Guru. Because through him you will receive the services, through him you will receive the opportunities to engage in Krishna consciousness. Because Diksha Guru stays somewhere far. He cannot see. Cannot see means he can see, but he is not in contact with us. That is the whole point. Our mission is established in this way. Sikshana and Diksha. Diksha, Siksha. Both should be there. If Diksha is not there, that's okay. Shiksha has to be compulsorily there. But if Shikshana is not there, Diksha is there. You cannot continue the process. You will leave the moment. I'll repeat this. Diksha is there, Shikshana is not there. That means training is not there in the science of Krishna consciousness. You'll leave the moment. Diksha is not there, Siksha is there. You're holding Shiksha very nicely. You'll move forward. Diksha is there, Siksha is there. Well and good. You'll continue, move forward. Because through that Diksha, if you're receiving Shiksha after that, your Diksha, your essence of that Diksha is withheld. That means the Bhakti Lata Bij, when you receive on the day of initiation, that is withheld. Please understand, this is very important. But if that Shikshana is not there, the Bhakti Lata Bij is removed. That means we will leave the moment. 5,000 disciples were initiated from Srila Prabhupada. Only 50 are there. Why? Where everyone left? Prabhupada initiated 5,000 disciples. Now, how many are there now? Now, some have left, but most of them have left the movement. Why? Various reasons. Prominent reason is Shikshana. That means they were seeing the person, but they are not seeing his Shikshana. That means they were attracted to Srila Prabhupada, but they are not attracted to the instructions of Srila. Only few could understand the heart of Srila Prabhupada. And they become exalted Vaishnava Acharyas. And even today, who is following the words of Srila Prabhupada, they become exalted pure Vaishnavas. And whoever gets connected to those personalities, they will understand the science of Krishna consciousness and they will also come to the state of surrender. Because the person is in the state of surrender. For example, if the person is not surrendered, then the people who are hearing from them, they will also not get the inspiration to surrender. That is how the moment is stagnated. Why? How the movement becomes stagnated? Because in movement there is no movement. In the moment, if there is no movement, in the moment, the movement comes through submission and surrender. Dear devotees, one submission to the words of the acharyas, one submission to our superiors, to our spiritual masters, the submission towards our spiritual master, that will devour all the problems of this material nature. One shot. So very important. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Prabhupada is mentioning here is when you come in the contact of the spiritual master and then take his instruction as the life and soul, and then lead your life according to that. This is a success. This is a moment you'll understand everything. Soul, super soul, relationship between soul and the super soul. What is internal energy? What is external energy? How they are working? How we have to work? How we have to check our heart? What we should work on it, what we should do in our in making forward in moving forward in Krishna consciousness. These aspects we should understand. That's why Diksha Shiksha is very important. Actually, the value to Diksha comes through Shiksha, because the Diksha has to be withheld. Dear devotees, is it easy to follow four regulative principles? You try to follow fully, it's not easy, it's difficult. If you don't feel the relationship, you don't have Shikshana, it's very difficult. Even having Shikshana is difficult. A lot of people will say, oh, I got initiated, everything is great. No, no, who said it is great? Are you following the relative principles? No, I'm not following. Then what is great? That means you are fooling the spiritual master. You think that you are fooling the spiritual master? We are at fool. We are fooled, not he, not they. We are fooled. This process is for our purification, not their purification. They are already pure. We are going through the science of Krishna consciousness for our purification. We have to make advancement. We have to come to the plane of self-realization. If I'm engaging in sense gratification, how can I come to the plane of self-realization? That is what exactly Krishna is telling in 6th chapter. Let me open up that verse. It is 6.47. Give me 1 second. I'll put this sloka in the group also. Asamyatmana yoga duspara iti me matihi vasyatmana tu yatata sakya vaptum upayataha. For one whose mind is unbridled, that means is wavering. Self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means, Krishna is very kind-hearted person. What is he telling? He who strives to that, because controlled mind is not an easy thing. It requires a lot of sadhana. It requires a lot of dependency. It requires a lot of mercy. Yesterday I was talking to a devotee. He's telling, as I was asking, Prabhu, how are you? He said, I'm a mercy personified. Everything you see is mercy. You see me nice, it's mercy. You see me good, it's mercy. You see me practicing, you see me holding my beads, it's mercy. Prabhu, this is what I am. Mercy, mercy, mercy of the spiritual mercy. I am nothing in my life. Everything is mercy. That is what exactly Krishna is telling here. But he whose mind is controlled. How is that mind is controlled? Training, sadhana, shikshana, and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. What is it? What Krishna is telling? Who is striving for that? That means he should strive for what? To control the mind. For him, success is assured. That is my opinion, Krishna is sure. Self-realization is easy if you depend. If we are fixing our mind and our consciousness completely to please our acharyas, completely to please the spiritual master, there you go, your mind is controlled. But if the mind is not like that, our mind is not controlled. Mind is wavering. So that is a very, very important aspect there to it. This we need to Actually, we should put imprint in our heart. This is the only shelter. See, it's the greatest shelter, dear Lord. Millions of lifetimes, our mind is unbridled only. It's not that is the whole point Krishna is telling. And who strives by appropriate means. What is that appropriate means? Taking full association. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Always be absorbed in the Shastras. If you do not have that intelligence, always be engaged in the process of Shravana. Hear nicely again and again. Here, I hear the discussions again and again, dear Lord. I think about them, I analyze them. Whenever I have free time, I think about them. When Prabhupada says one should actually chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra just like a child is crying out for the mother. When the child will cry for the mother? The relationship. That's what Prabhupada means. That means we should feel, yes, this holy name is greatest gift. My spiritual master told me to do this. My spiritual master gave me this. How fortunate. How fortunate I am. I should never miss this because this is displeasing my spiritual master. I will not eat for one day, but I will finish my 16 rounds. I will finish because I want to please that person. Dear devotees, when you begin doing anything for yourself, you'll stop that. But you when begin doing anything for the pleasure of the other person, especially the souls who actually brought us in Krishna consciousness. Our spiritual master, our Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, so merciful personality. Slept only 2 hours every day. Well, for us, when you begin doing for those personality, you'll continue this. When you'll not continue, you'll go in jet rocket. Jet rocket. You get so much reflections, realizations. Then when you see that self-realization manifesting slowly into one's consciousness, coming out of this kama, krodha, the love, ama, mada, matsara, lust, greed, anger, envy, falsehood, pride, you give all of that back to the spiritual master. That is what Krishna is mentioning. Who strives by appropriate means. That is what? What is appropriate means? Shravana and Kirtana. Continuous Shravana and Kirtana. Who strives to the appropriate means. Since morning I'm in service only. Early in the morning I get up. After that, chanting, class. After that, go to school, all day service. I couldn't get any time to open up anything. But where are these words coming? I did not prepare also. As a mercy, I always see that as a mercy. Spiritual master's mercy is very. I can continue for 1 more hour, but I don't want to continue. Because we also have to go to work. Because we also have to go to work. And this is a very beautiful side here. Please understand this. This we need to, that's why we should take this like a diamond. Please think about this. I'll put this shloka in the group. Please think about this shloka. Think, assess, analyze. This is what we should do. Hare. I think I'll stop it here. Thank you all very much. If I caused an inconvenience through my words, please excuse me. Anyone would like to add anything? Like to share on what we discussed? Dear devotees, bhakti means this only. And it's not prayasa. We are doing with devotion. Because we want to please those personalities. We want to please the acharyas. We want to please the Lord. This is the way. This is the best way of this. Think about this. Ask this question. Oh, my dear Lord, why am I not coming to the state of self-realization? Where is the problem? What should I do to come to the state of self-realization? Should I ask this question continuously? Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anyone would like to add anything? Otherwise, we'll just stop it here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. If I have spoken anything wrong, caused any inconvenience, please excuse me. Thank you all very much. Thank you also for the opportunity to share. Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam all glories to Prabhupada. Thank you for giving a wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving also a wonderful explanation from the source, Prabhuji. Thank both of you for joining today. And now, Prem Navani. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. जम विषमदा पर हम सब देवराज के चरित्र शीश मरे भक्ति वृंद समय राजेश बार की जय
Jai.
इस कंबवती फाउंडेशन श्लोक बार की जय
Jai.
जम विषमदा पर हम सब देवराज के चरित्र शीश मर भक्ति संत सरस को समय राजेश बार की जय
Jai.
अनंत को वैष्णव की जय
Jai.
चरण रास्ते की जय
Jai.
प्रेम से श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य पवन नित्यानंद श्री ऋतिक राधे शिव श्री गौर भक्तविंद की जय
Jai.
श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम राधा गंगिरी वर्णन की जय
Jai. Jai.
हिमालय पर धाम की जय
Jai.
श्री नावन धाम की जय
Jai.
श्री जगन्नाथपुरी की जय
Jai.
गंगा माया की जय
Jai.
यमुना माया की जय
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की जय
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की जय
Jai.
श्री नमः संकीर्तन की जय
Jai.
नमः विद्या भक्तिविंद की जय
Jai.
नीता गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल
Hari Bol.
All glories to Devotees Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Devotees Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Devotees Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namah Vishmaraga Shrimashtabhutala Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Samhita Namane Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishis Nivari Bhashadhistarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pavanityananda Shri Hrithik Radha Shri Sri Gauravaktivanda Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pagamam Katagiri Makri Patama Mande Shri Gurnitanam Paramanand Madham Shri Shri Karve Gauraja Radha Katala Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Bhaktaya Namo Namah Vanchakabir Shakripsame Vajapatitana Pavina Vaishnava Namo Hare Krishna, everyone. How wonderful Krishna consciousness say Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Karina Mata Ji ki jai. Jai. Vamsi Vilas Prabhu Ji ki jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Nila Govinda Prabhu Ji ki jai. Jai. Hare all devotees ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Jai. Please have a wonderful Krishna conscious day, every devotee. Thank you.